MLB breakdown video for this 15-game May 17th slate. May 17th, also my mother's birthday. Shout out, Mom. Happy birthday. I'm Christian Hardy, at MyHardy on Twitter, from LocksDFS.com. Locks DFS, where you can get your MLB content. We got our lock sheet, we've got our top stacks, and we've got our first look every single main slate. There's basically going to be lock sheet is going to be analysis of every single player we're considering on the slate and why we're considering them. Super useful on a big slate like this, a 15-game slate, where I'm not going to be able to talk about not even close to everything in this video. So, as well as top stacks and first look, those will be a little bit more in depth about all the stuff that we're looking at on this slate. That said, as well, be sure to check that out, locksdfs.com, but also be sure to comment and subscribe on this video. Remember, that helps us out a lot, but it also will give you guys a chance to win a free season pass from locksdfs.com. Every Monday we do these videos Monday through Friday, so if you haven't been watching them, just so you know. And every Monday we'll give out a free season pass to someone who has been commenting and is a subscriber that consistently contributes to the conversation. So we really appreciate that, and we feel like we should be giving back to those people. So I'll be tweeting about mostly just baseball. So if you're interested in baseball, that's a good place to be. All right, let's get into the slate. 15 games. Again, not going to get into nearly everything, but I am going to get through some of my favorite options on the slate. And of course, my top option on the slate is going to be Jacob deGrom. Going into 2.7 run total in Miami, it is up from 2.5 to 2.7. DeGrom is just dominant. I mean, there's not much to say. 15.7% swinging strike rate. He has given up a little bit of hard hit this year, but it's not too concerning. Still getting heavy ground balls, and a 2.35 xFIP to righties. Look at those K rates: 11.88, 12.46 to righties. And if we pull up some Marlins stats versus righties this year, 27% K rate, 64 WRC plus, and a .087 ISO. Those numbers are atrocious. Not a single team in the league is, if we just sort by ISO here, versus righties this year, the next to lowest after the Marlins is the Indians at 130. So you just see how little power they have. Of course, he gets a great ballpark in Miami. No reason. He should be the chalkiest pitcher. He will also be my SP1, almost guaranteed. So that's honestly probably the most obvious thing to talk about in the slate. Let's be honest. It's DeGrom versus the Marlins. My next pitcher I'm going to talk about, though, so if we just plug in DeGrom here and we plug in my next pitcher, who's going to be probably SP2 is my favorite. SP2 is going to be Joey Lucchesi as of now. Lucchesi's a lefty going up against this Pirates team that really struggles versus lefties. I'll go ahead and pull up those lefties numbers first, just so we understand the matchup and why kind of the Pirates are coming in as a 3.3 run total. I just want to kind of understand how bad they've been versus lefties this year. See them down here at .094, but a .095 ISO versus lefties this year is pretty atrocious, and a 65 WRC plus. We will only see two lefties in this. Lucchesi is a lefty. We're only going to see two lefties in this Pirates lineup: Adam Frazier and Gregory Polanco. But we will see a lot of switch hitters: Josh Bell, Reynolds, Tucker, all of which hit worse from the right side, which they will be hitting against Lucchesi. So Lucchesi's has had a little bit of bad luck this year, honestly. Although the xFIP is 4.44, his BABIP is 3.44, which is just higher than you would expect from a guy like this. He's walking more guys on the right side, but still the ground ball rate is phenomenal. Not giving up a ton of hard hit contact to either side. And if we look at his swinging strike rate versus lefties, it's 13.9%. It does drop to 11.2%, but still both very, very good rates for a pitcher that is this price in this matchup in this ballpark with the 3.3 team total. It all adds up to really Lucchesi being a very, very good play. I think he'll be coming in relatively chalky just because of the price dip he's getting in the nut matchup. This is basically the nut team you want to face versus lefties as a lefty pitcher, except for maybe the Rays, who, as you can see here, strike out at a 31% rate versus lefties. But that said, Lucchesi versus the Pirates, who are a team that have not hit lefties well this year in this park. It's a very, very good matchup for him. So looking at my top two pitching options, as you can see, you have 3.8K here left. Very, very good pitchers that I consider to be really in that SP1 range, honestly. I think Lucchesi is good enough we saw him in the 9Ks this year. So coming off a little bit of a tough game, but that price drop puts him very, very squarely in play for me. Okay. Oh, real quick, I will give you guys a few other guys I'm considering, and if you guys want to know more about them, they'll be on the lock sheet. But if you are looking to go really cheap, I do think that I'll go just go and pull it up on here. I do think that both these guys in this White Sox Blue Jays game make some sense. I do need to look into them further, but at those prices, I will be considering them. Both those teams just strike out so much that I think there is some validity in those guys. And then in the mid-range, he's more expensive than Luke Casey, so I'm not sure about him. This lineup just came out, and it is looking pretty much normal, and he's going to be facing a few lefties, but a righty-heavy lineup, and Montes has been dominant on righties this year. And last guy I mentioned is Jeffrey Rodriguez, who's getting a ton of soft contact. All those guys are kind of in play for me and a little bit cheaper except for Montes, so if you're looking to punt an SB2, basically punt an SB2, those guys all kind of work for me, but I'm not sure I'll be going there. Okay, let's get into some bats now. First and most obvious spot on the slate is just the highest team total on the slate by a mile. It's going to be the Cardinals at 6.4 runs. They are going to be facing an opener in Jose Leclerc, who usually closes games for the Rangers. Kind of a weird strategy for them to throw their closer out at the beginning of the game. But that said, we're going to have Adrian Sampson coming in behind him. So we're going to get tough ABs for Carp, Goldie, and DeYoung in their first ABs. That's for sure. Leclerc is a very good pitcher. Gets a lot of strikeouts. But the run total is still 6.4, and Adrian Sampson is pretty bad. We just pulled out some XFIPs here. Over 6 to righties, over 5 to lefties. Over 47% hard contact to both, 43% fly ball to lefty, 39% fly ball to righties. Swinging strike rate is around 9%, which is about league average, 9.2%. So not too concerning there. Don't think he's going to be missing too many bats. Really like the Cardinals today. If we go look at their lineup real quick, I do think the price on Goldie is great at 4.5. Carp has been struggling, but in this ballpark, I still have some interest in him. And of course, Sampson has been worse versus righties, so all of these righties in this lineup are in play for me. I do think DeYoung is still too expensive at 5.1K. If he was more like 4.8, I'd be more likely to play him. Ozuna, although he'll be taking some frustrating ABs, I'm sure, in this ballpark, with the potential for this much power in this environment, really like a Marcell Ozuna today at 4.9K if you can afford him. And then, of course, you have Martinez and Molina, which are a little bit more cheaper options, but both are fine for cash, especially for me on the road where we know they're going to get a ninth inning chance to bat if the lineup lines up that way. So Cardinals all in play for me. Goldie would be probably my favorite. I'm going to name you guys one. Next up is going to be the A's. And A's is a combination of a lot of things. One thing I should say real quick on the Rangers, they do have I believe the 4th worst bullpen over the last month. So as much as this is an indictment, the 6.4 run total is an indictment of Sampson, it's also really an indictment of the Rangers bullpen. So let's kind of go into this A's game, and I was thinking about the bullpens because the Tigers bullpen is terrible. We saw that the A's dominated them, not only their starter yesterday, but then the bullpen after in that early slate. So big interest in the A's here, and they're all so cheap. These guys are all so cheap, especially on a slate where we're going to be looking for salary. Daniel Norris, nothing too scary from Norris. I don't think he's a pitcher that is like crazy targetable, but he does give up a good amount of fly ball and hard hit to righties. So 39% fly ball, 39% hard hit to righties. Don't really ask for it as a DFS player. You just don't want your guy striking out a whole lot, So as Norris not striking out guys, I do think the A's are gonna be able to put the ball in play here. And let's go back to this projected lineup here. I actually think 1 through 6 is all playable at these prices. I think Matt Chapman, dude rakes and should never be this cheap at 4.2K, especially against the second worst bullpen over the last 30 days, and Daniel Norris. Like I said, Norris might be able to coast and go up like 3-4 runs through like 5 innings or something, maybe 6 innings he can get through. But that said, he's still gonna be facing the bullpen right after that. So I definitely think this 5.2 run total is appropriate, and the prices are way too low for these guys. So send me at 3.9K. Whoever bats second, whether it's Piscotty, Pinder, Canha, all those guys are very good plays for me. I doubt it'll be Piscotty, probably more Canha or Pinder. Whoever's second, going to be interesting for me and going to be in play. As I said, Chapman, going to be one of my favorite third base plays on the slate at that price. 4.2K, like I said, dude is just rakes both sides and should never be this cheap. Versus lefties, 3.68 WOBA and a 2.27 ISO over the last year. Chris Davis, once again, he has outside of his power, he has actually struggled a little bit this year. But look at those numbers versus lefties over the last year: 3.86 WOBA and a 3.45 ISO. Love Chris Davis. And then lastly, Piscotty. If Piscotty is batting 5th, He's actually going to be one of my favorite outfielders of the day. 379 ISO, or WOBA, and a 255 ISO versus lefties over last year. Dude absolutely crushes lefties. He has a good amount of power versus righties too, so regardless who they bring in, I have a lot of confidence in Piscotty at this price. Love the A's today at 5.2 runs, and I just mostly love their prices, especially with knowing that we're going to be paying for at least DeGrom on this slate. And then the last spot I want to talk about as a team is going to be the Braves. I mostly want to bring up the Braves because I want to bring up Austin Riley. Austin Riley is 3.9K still, going up into Ulysse Chassin. Got moved to outfield today, which makes him even more interesting because you don't have to pick over all these other third basemen in Riley's in the mix. Now you just have to pick him over a few outfielders. Let's go to Chassin's numbers though real quick. Before we get into his numbers, I wanted to mention this is being played in Atlanta. Plays at the Hitter's Park, and it's 84 degrees. Going to be very good hitting environment, especially in Atlanta. Okay, Chassin, 43% fly ball, 35% hard hit to righties, 40% fly ball, 47% hard hit to lefties, xFIP of 4.8 to righties, and a 6.18 xFIP to lefties. You can target both sides here, but the lefties are especially interesting. If we pull up his plate discipline, which is going to be swinging strike, as you can see, he's not missing bats. 4.3 swinging strike rate in his last time out against the Cubs. I think the Braves are going to do similar damage against him and really not be striking out much against his team, against Chassin. As I said, Riley just absolutely raking. I think he's going to be batting cleanup soon enough with Donaldson kind of lagging a little bit. I think Riley is, as you can see through his first two games, he almost had another home run yesterday, but he still ended up scoring a home run total. He's K'd once in 7 at-bats. He's taking really smart at-bats and seeing pitches. As you can see, that double yesterday was almost a home run, so lots of interest in Riley at that price. That said, I do think the rest of these guys make some sense. Acuna is fine in cash. Swanson's kind of struggling and doesn't have a ton of power right now, but I do think he's fine for cash. Freeman, I prefer Goldie on the Cardinals, but I have some interest in him. As you can see, Chassin has massive struggles against lefties, so Freeman makes a lot of sense. Donaldson not as much interest in at 4.3K, but Markakis, as I mentioned, the lefties, and of course Markakis always has that stolen base upside, so have some interest in him as well. Okay, that is about it. I will go through my home run calls real quick. I didn't get to the Angels. So the Angels have a 5.7 run total. That total is up, I believe, half a run since opening. So there's going to be some interest in the Angels today. Brad Keller gives up a lot of fly balls, a lot of home runs, as a lot of these Royals pitchers do. And of course, the Royals are backed by a not very good bullpen. So gonna have my home run call today is gonna be Mike Trout. There's gonna be some interest in the rest of these Angels. Mike Trout's gonna be the home run call just because I didn't get to talk about the rest of the Angels. Mike Trout's the home run call, expensive home run call of the day. So if you're paying up, he is the guy I'm gonna be looking at. If you're paying way up, 5K plus, he's gonna be the guy I'm gonna be looking at. And then my second home run call of the day, I mentioned him already, but it's gonna be Stephen Piscotty. Dude just mashes lefties. If he's batting fifth at the 3.6K price tag, I just really like that for Piscotty. And again, Norris isn't missing a lot of bats. I think he'll be able to get the bat on the ball. So big fan of that, and a big fan of the A's in general. So with all that said, be sure to check us out at locksdfs.com. Again, me and Addy will be breaking down this slate. I mean, there are so many spots to talk about that I didn't get to. We'll have full analysis on every player we're considering on this slate. As well as more pitching options, because of course there are guys like Cole and Scherzer, and we can kind of analyze how we are going to be attacking them on this slate. With that said, not attacking them, but possibly playing them on this slate. With all that said, check us out at locksdfs.com. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good weekend. We'll see you guys back here on Monday. Thanks so much for watching. See you then.